Tamar is a hypocrite. What's good, everybody? Thank you all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. We are here today to talk about the Braxtons season 2, episode 1, and the name of the episode is called New Hustle, Old Wounds. I'm sorry that I'm late. I had so much stuff going on, but now I'm trying to get back on track. Oh my God. I feel like it was so much going on in this episode and not a lot being said at the same time. So I feel like this review may be all over the place because, again, it seems like this season that we're going to be focused on what happened between Ashlee, Gabe, and Trina. And what happened was, well, in this episode, they didn't really talk about what Ashlee said on TikTok. And when I say talk about it, we're talking around it, but she didn't really tell her story again on the show. So it's kind of confusing. With that being said, I still think that Tamar is a hypocrite. I believe that Ashlee is being used. And I believe that Trina is a victim. I really do believe that she's a victim. The first part of the episode we had already seen before within the trailer, and I had already did a video on that. But something I didn't talk about in that video was Trina. Trina was saying that she was excited for season 2 of the Braxtons, and as a matter of fact, you welcome. And to me, I thought that she meant that she showed up to film, even though she had every reason not to, even though she had every reason to tuck her tail and go into hiding because she felt that she was being quote unquote bullied. I don't know if I felt like that she was being bullied. I do think that people was judging a situation that they didn't know anything about, and she still showed up to film. I had ended up seeing a report that Trina and Towanda were paid $250,000 apiece for this season of the Braxtons, and that Tamar and Toni ended up receiving $900,000.
That's wrong.
Mm-hmm. And again, that is a whole nother reason. Me personally, I think that that is totally wrong. To me, it's just not very sisterly. It's not very sisterly. We're all sisters, but I do feel like that Toni probably feels like that she has sacrificed a lot for her sisters. I think that Toni probably feels like that she always had to look out for her sisters. I think that that can almost be a crush sometimes. I'm not saying don't be there for your siblings, but I can only help you so much. Miss E, these are your kids. You don't went around here and laid it low and flirted wide with Mr. Braxton and had all these kids. I can't. And it's not only that I'm trying to help the kids, I'm trying to help the kids and their families, right? And then I also got to help you. I'm talking about as I'm Toni, right? Toni has to help Evelyn. She has to help her sisters and her brother. And then she got to help their kids. And I got 2 kids myself. My ex-husband is trying to take money from me. I do think that Toni probably feels like I have sacrificed a lot for my sisters, but there is no way that they can justify to me filming a show where we see more of Trina and Towanda anyway. We don't really see Toni like that. We don't really see Toni in her house. Toni is not going to really have a huge storyline like that about something that's really significant to her. She's just going to be brushing over you know what I'm saying? Brushing through stuff, trying to make us think that she's an icon, that she is an icon, but she's not going to really give us anything. I don't think that if this was Toni situation like it is Trina's, that Toni would show up. I don't think that she would. But to me, it's just not sisterly. So the episode started off with Tamar at a dinner with Ashlee. So Ashlee lives in Spain. I'm guessing from the conversation that she was having with Tamar, she's in an entertainment business in Spain. From what I know about Ashlee, she had a troubled upbringing. Now Tamar said that she hasn't seen Ashlee since her sister's funeral, and she wasn't going to let Ashlee's funeral be the next time she sees her. So why did you wait to reach out to her when some shit got started? Tamar not gonna play in my face. Tamar is up to some bullshit. And to me, I see why she apologized before the season aired. You didn't really care about Ashlee like that. You cared about this story. There is no way you haven't seen your niece in 10 years and, oh, I wasn't gonna let that. No, that doesn't even make sense. Because you would have saw her before the shit went down online and she started trying to to spread family business. Another thing that makes Tamar a hypocrite, she said that she didn't know how Lauren died.
She's a lying bitch.
Lauren is Ashley's younger sister. Everybody know how Lauren died. Everybody know how Lauren died. Tamar was trying to keep it a family secret right in our face. Lauren died of a heroin and fentanyl overdose. She died of a heroin and fentanyl overdose, and Tamar did not look into the camera and say it. For you to not look into the camera and say it, that is keeping a family secret. If we're going to put it on the table, we're going to put it on the table because we're trying to help people, right? So people watching the show and people who may be watching the show with their teenagers or young adults need to know that you can overdose at 24 years old off of heroin and fentanyl. Don't do it at all. Don't touch it. So we're going to put it on the floor and we're here to try to heal and save people. Let's put it out there. I believe Tamar knew exactly how Lauren died, but she did not want to say it on camera. Ashley said in the TikTok, I remember Ashley saying it in the TikTok video too. And the thing with Tamar that made her look so pitiful was that all you had to do was literally type Lauren Braxton in Google. And the first thing that popped up was a People article that said that she died of fentanyl and heroin overdose. Ashley said that she could have been Lauren. From what Ashley said online in the videos that I've seen of her on TikTok, she and Lauren had a troubled upbringing. Her mom and her daddy was together. Remember, Tamar and the Braxton sisters are Ashley and Lauren's paternal aunts, means they're dad's sisters. So that's how she's related to the family. Her dad is a Braxton. And it's so funny because I feel like Lauren and Ashley look a lot like the Braxtons, more like Towanda. I think that they look exactly like Towanda. You can tell that these girls are that they family. But anyway, they had a troubled upbringing. Their mom and their dad was together, and she just said that one day her mom left when she was like very, very young, not over 5 years old, but her mom just ended up leaving. And she said they was raised by their dad, and he ended up remarrying, and so they was raised by their dad and their stepmom, and their stepmom kind of mistreated them. At some point, when Ashley became an adult, she ended up moving to LA to live with Tamar and Vince. Vince ended up getting her a job at a record label. They ended up getting her a Range Rover. I'm not sure. I don't know if they bought a Range Rover or they leased it, but they ended up getting her a Range Rover. And Ashley got to start fucking up. She got to fucking up. They said that she was running around driving drunk. I don't know about her performance at work, but she was messing up. And Tamar told her that she had to go and sent her back to Baltimore. When she went to Baltimore, from her own words, she said she ended up stealing her dad's credit card and she ended up buying a ticket back to LA, and she ended up moving in with a friend for a couple of months. And nobody knew that she was in LA. And then one day out of the blue, Toni reached out to her and asked her, would she like to be her assistant? Now, me knowing that Toni reached out to her and tried to pay her to be her assistant, I'm wondering, was Toni paying her correctly? I remember Toni was upset. Season 1 of Braxton Family Values, Toni was upset. Her and Tamar was trying to chastise Trina because Trina was charging Toni to sing backup for her. And again, I do feel like that Toni probably feels like she's done so much for her sisters. However, you can't expect a married woman, because she was married at the time, and not even the married woman, a woman with 2 kids, to be traveling all over the world with you, singing backup for you and not be compensated. I have to make a living. I have to feed my kids, right? So you have to pay her. Tamar was saying, oh, well, you charge her. I don't you have a rich husband. It's fun and games for you. Or you had one at the time. Tamar was living a life. And that's what I be saying. Sometimes family will fuck you over worse than strangers. And so Tamar lets it be known that she flew Ashley in all the way from Spain. Next, we got Trina at her house, okay? Trina is over there making an alcoholic beverage. I always get scared. I keep the same energy, okay? I'm watching Trina because, Trina had a DUI. When we first met Trina season 1, Trina had a DUI. And in her mug shot, baby, the wig was off her head. We saw her set it off braids, cornrows on her scalp. I don't even think it was braids. It probably was braids on half of the head, and other side of the head, the hair was just sticking up. So I'm always watching the girls with DUIs to see what's going on. I don't think that she's at Karen's level, like with 4 DUIs, but at least to me, I think that 1 DUI is a warning sign, and it's still a DUI. But luckily for Trina, where I can, breathe like I had to, Andrew, calm down, because I get triggered. uh, the good thing for Trina was that Trina was at home, so she has no reason to leave the house. And the thing is, Trina already looked tipsy. That's why I was really worried. She already looked like she was tipsy.
Hey, you fucked up, ain't you, girl?
Towanda ended up coming over. Towanda is engaged. She keeps letting people know that she's engaged, and I'm kind of excited for Towanda. She said it's a big deal for her because she's the only girl in the family who hasn't had a wedding amongst the siblings. But does it really matter? Does it really matter? Shout out to Diva. You just want the party. You just want the party. Just throw yourself a party. It doesn't really matter if you're the only one in the family that hasn't had a wedding, because none of their sisters are currently married right now to the men that they had a wedding with, or to the men that they were married to. All of them end up getting a divorce. So, and you too, without your wedding. So it doesn't even really matter. You just want the party, and I get it that you want the party, girl. Just throw the party. Just throw the party. I will say this. I love Towanda and Trina's relationship. I love how Towanda holds Trina down. And out of all of the sisters, I think that Towanda is the backbone of the sisters. And I try to be the Towanda between my siblings. But except I'm going to my nieces and nephews' graduation. But besides that, I try to hold them down equally, and that's what I see from Towanda. She always tries to hold them down. I have a very special relationship with my brother and my sister. It's not the same. Like, I have a different relationship with both of them, but I hold both of them down, and I love them both equally the same. It's almost like raising children, that people say you have 2 different children. They have 2 different interests. And so you have to go about it 2 different ways. That's what I see myself doing with my siblings. So Towanda and Trina talked, and Towanda was trying to break the ice because she knew what they had to talk about. And they didn't really say what happened. So I'm going to say it here. And I feel like that I'm going to be saying this a couple of times, not in this video, but throughout the season, because I plan on reviewing the whole season this year. I'm sorry I'm late, but we just got to talk about it. Ashlee Braxton ended up going on TikTok, and she basically said that she and her sister had went to go stay with their aunt for the summer, which was Trina. We know now it's Trina, when she was 16 years old. So it's her and Lauren, and Trina also has 2 kids. I believe their name is Caleb and Eric. And, I think it was an opportunity to keep the cousins close. They're close in age, so they went to go stay the summer with their aunt. When the summer was over, Ashlee went back to Baltimore. For whatever reason, Ashley's mother was in her cell phone, and she was reading her text messages. Now, do I think that the stepmother was overstepping? I don't know. Maybe no. I'm really funny when it comes to step parents doing anything, especially if I am to believe that the stepmother was mistreating Ashlee and her sister. But I do advise that all parents check in on their children, sneak in their cell phones every now and then. And it's not an invasion of privacy, but you need to see what's going on. And if it's something real small, like they didn't turn in a homework assignment, don't bring that up. If it's something really big or major, you need to have a discussion about it. But if it's something small and minute, I would suggest not bringing it up, right? If they skip, if they turn in a homework assignment, maybe skip the class or something like that. You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't bring it up. But if it was something major, something like that needs to be talked about. And you are responsible for these kids, so I do think that you need to check these phones. You need to check the phones and see what's going on. You might got a school shooter on your hands. I don't know.
Oh no.
Nevertheless, the stepmother found inappropriate text messages between Ashlee and Gabe. Ashlee said that they never had sex. The stepmother went and told Ashley's father, who was Michael, and Michael ended up calling Trina. She said that Trina was real apologetic. Trina told her that she was sorry for what happened. She asked, was Ashlee okay? And she told Ashlee that never should have happened to her. Ashlee says as time went on, the assumption that she didn't do anything because she was a child at 16 was not the assumption anymore. And the communication was cut off from her family. And it boggled her mind, because if something had happened or if it was true, that would make him she went on to say was however she navigated that was the way that she navigated it. And she should have never been put into that spot in the first place. Now, that's a lot to unpack, and I think that it's a touchy situation. What I think that we all can agree on is that Gabe was wrong.
Point blank, period.
Gabe was wrong, and Gabe was out of line. What I also must say, that if Trina was going to cut off communication with Ashley, she should have cut off communication with Gabe. I mean, to me, that is grounds for divorce. It's really grounds for unaliving the motherfucker. But I think that that's ground for divorce, because not only did you cheat or was attempting to cheat, you did it with my niece. And not only did you do it with my niece, she was 16. But I do think that it's hard to say without us having the text messages. Because without the text messages, we don't know exactly what went on, and we don't know who initiated what. And I can't get behind the I didn't do anything because I was a child. I can acknowledge that Gabe holds most of the responsibility, but I'm not of the belief that just because a person was 16 years old, it absolves them of everything in any wrongdoing. At 16 years old, you can still have a child. At 16 years old, if Ashley was 16 years old and she became pregnant by somebody who was 16 or over 18, she would be held accountable for it. She would not be absolved of it. Everybody would still be walking around. If she was 16 years old, pregnant by Gabe, everybody will still find fault in her. So I just would not never be able to think that she didn't do anything wrong just because she was 16 years old. Do I think that Gabe had most of the responsibility because he was an adult? Yes, but I'm not going to say that she's just absolved of everything in the assumption because that's how she tried to paint it. And that's when I knew that Ashley was up to some bullshit too. When she said, well, I was 16. Well, I was 16. Well, I was 16. That doesn't absolve you of everything, though. Now, can I see a world where a 16 years old, hell, I can see a world where a grown woman would be uncomfortable telling their aunt that their husband was flirting with them or doing something with them, but that's not what happened. Ashley and Gabe were caught. They were caught. What happened was Ashley had an inappropriate relationship with her aunt's husband, and she was participating in it. That's the truth. She had an inappropriate relationship going on between her aunt's husband, and she got caught. She got caught by her stepmother. She didn't think she was wrong. Her and her sister were a piece of work. They were. I'm not saying that something should have happened to her, but she carried on an inappropriate relationship with her aunt's husband, and she got caught. And depending on how many text messages was exchanged, it's hard to say because we don't have the facts. Ashley was not turning the advances down. Ashley was complicit. And to me, that all matters. And again, without the text messages, we don't know who initiated what. Again, Gabe is dead wrong. If Ashley initiated something, Gabe should have shut it down. He should have shut it down. But if she initiated something, are we still going to be around here saying that, well, she was 16? No. No. And if she initiated something, it's still not going to be, well, she navigated the way she navigated it, because no, absolutely not. Trina, it's because the scene is going between Trina and Ashley. Trina said that she's not here to victimize the victim, and she can't take away anybody's pain. And Towanda tell Trina that she's a victim. And I believe that Trina is a victim. And I think the way Trina chooses to navigate this should be respected as well. Trina didn't ask for this. Trina was trying to be a good aunt and invite her nieces over that lives in a different state. All I did was invite my nieces over who lived in a different state for the summer so I can be a good auntie. They can know me and keep a relationship with them, and they can be around their cousins. She didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. She said Ashley moved out of the country. Nobody ostracized her. And she said, my number did not change. Ashley's did. And if Ashley needed anything additional, why didn't she tell me? Why didn't she call me? And I'm just telling y'all from Trina and what I've seen of Trina on this show, I believe that Trina would have been there for Ashley and gave her whatever she needed that was additional. I truly do believe that. I truly do believe that. Do y'all think that any of the sisters knew? I don't think that the sisters knew what was going on, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. Tamar said that having Ashley on the podcast is not a messy move for her, that she had Trina on the podcast. Great. What did Trina talk about? What did Trina talk about? And again, Tamar be telling half truths. You had Trina on your podcast before, but as we found out later on in the episode, the first live episode of your podcast was going to be with Ashley.
Oh. Okay.
Because you were trying to exploit her. I've seen Tamar do this before. I've seen Tamar do it with James Chanel, and I told y'all before. He's on this show too. She claimed that it's her best friend. Why didn't you do nothing when Krishan knocked his teeth out of his mouth? If that's your best friend. If that's your best friend, why didn't you do nothing when Krishan knocked his teeth out of his mouth? We know James Chanel from the Patty Pie. He said that Patty Pie video went so viral that his phone literally broke. And those Patty LaBelle pies was flying off the shelves when that happened. Tamar ended up finding him, making him one of her background singers. And I will never forget, because Patty messed over James Chanel, if you want to ask me. I do. All she did was get him some Louis Vuitton luggage and invited him to her house for Thanksgiving. She said, well, I made the pies. I wouldn't have even known that Patty LaBelle made pies if it wasn't for James Chanel. I heard that was nasty anyway, too, though. But anyway, I remember when the Popeye chicken sandwich came out and people was driving all over LA trying to find it. Well, I know me for sure. I was driving all over LA trying to find me a chicken sandwich. And I remember when because he kind of made a jingle for the Patty LaBelle pies. When the chicken sandwiches came out, Tamar and James Chanel and Logan was over there eating chicken sandwiches. And Logan know how to fix some shit up. Logan had coleslaw and everything all on his chicken sandwich. But she was trying to get James Chanel to sing about the chicken sandwich. But why would you, if he got messed over by Patty LaBelle, why would you try to get him to go viral with you on the internet without a brand deal? You just wanted to go viral and be in the spotlight with him. You wanted to use him. And that's what you're doing about Ashley. That's what I feel like you're doing with Ashley. You're trying to exploit her. Tamar said that having Ashley on her podcast was to give her a voice and a safe space, not a messy move against her family. If Tamar really wanted to give Ashley a voice, she could have gotten Trina and Ashley on the phone together to talk. If that's what they want to do. Neither one of them, I'm not saying either one of them have to talk to each other. These are both grown women. But to allow Ashley to go on a podcast and tell her side of the story and not allow Trina to tell hers isn't right. She didn't say that Trina went on her podcast and talked about what happened between Ashley and them. So it's different. I think that Ashley could have been misinterpreting Trina's energy because Ashley never said that Trina told her anything negative. She never said that Ashley told her, well, girl, you was wrong and you initiated and you did this and you did that. She never said that Trina told her any of that. All she said was that the assumption that she didn't do anything because she was a child wasn't there anymore. But she never said that Trina told her that. What she said that Trina told her was that she was sorry. Are you okay? And that shouldn't have happened to you. Wanda is telling Trina that conversation that she did online in the TikTok video could have been a reach out. She could have reached out instead of doing that. And I believe that too. Tamar was asked in the confessional, do she think that Ashley will be healed after doing the podcast? And Tamar said she doesn't think that she will be healed. She thinks that she will be regressed because how her family chose to handle things, especially when you're crying out for help. Because she remembered when she cried out and nobody helps her. This is the bullshit that I be talking about with Tamar. Did Ashley cry out for help or did she just go on the internet? Did Ashley cry out for help and we missing something and they just not saying it? Or did we hear from the internet? It doesn't seem like the sisters knew what happened with Ashley and Gabe before she went to the internet. And in my opinion, I don't think that that's the family secret. I think that could have been something to save Ashley. Could you imagine if the family knew what happened between Gabe and Ashley? I know that everybody get on the internet nowadays and everybody tries to make it seem like they're this moral police, But if that family knew that Ashley was over there having an inappropriate relationship with Gabe, then she would have been treated like cousin Faith. And y'all know it. She would have been treated like cousin Faith. That shit, because that happened when she was 16. If people knew, if that family knew what happened, there is no way that Ashley would have been staying with Tamar and Vince. There's no way she would have been over there staying with Tamar and Vince. There is no way that Toni would have hired her as her assistant and she would have been around that house with Toni and Birdman. There is no way, and y'all know it. So sometimes people not putting everything on the floor for everybody to know. It is to save probably that child's image. I can see that being something that was said between Trina and Michael to save Ashley's image and not have her looking like this little fast girl around here in the family. So sometimes it is there to save. Now, it would be different if Gabe actually R-worded the girl and we was trying to keep it a secret, but that's not what happened. Ashley was taking part of an inappropriate relationship with her uncle. That's what happened. And they chose not to tell everybody in the family. It doesn't seem like that the women knew, but I know that Tamar didn't know because Tamar wouldn't have had Vince over there. I mean, she would have had Ashley around there with Vince, and y'all can't convince me any other way. From what Trina is saying in the confessional, it seems like that Trina is willing to have a conversation with Ashley, but she doesn't want to do it publicly. She said that it needs to be talked about behind closed doors first, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't know what happened with Tamar because she's not saying, but I think that Tamar is putting what happened to her on Ashley. We haven't seen Ashley cry out for help. What happened to Tamar happened to Tamar. It didn't happen to Ashley, so the situations are not similar. And it's hard for me to believe. I want to hear Tamar say what she's saying in this confessional in front of Miss E and Michael, the daddy, to see what's really going on, and really the sisters, because I want to see what is going on here with this dynamic. And the thing is, Tamar is saying family. Is the family. Say their names. Say their names and say what happened to you. And I want to hear her say it in front of the family. Then Tamar says that people are not going to get how Ashley chooses to heal. And she said that Ashley may walk in as Ashley, but she may walk out the podcast as a different person. Girl, is you a motherfucking therapist? Is she a motherfucking therapist? Tamar is trying to hype this up like her podcast is bigger than TikTok. I doubt that Tamar podcast is bigger than TikTok. Her story was already out there. I want to stop this part with saying that Gabe was totally wrong, 100%. But Ashley just being 16 does not change it for me. Ashley didn't say anything. Ashley got caught. And we have to agree on that. Ashley was carrying on an inappropriate relationship with her uncle, not even while she was still in Atlanta. She was still carrying on an inappropriate relationship with the man when she was in Baltimore. And she got caught by her stepmother. And I can see this being a hard thing that Trina had to deal with. Trina is a victim. I didn't do anything. All I did was invite my nieces to my house for the summer. And my niece and my husband was carrying on an inappropriate relationship behind my back. And again, I do believe that if Trina, cut off Ashley, that she should have cut off Gabe. But from what Trina is saying, she didn't cut the girl off. She didn't cut the girl off. And because the girl is saying that I was cut off from my family. But were you cut off from your family, or did you live in Baltimore and most of your family live in Atlanta or LA? That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that Ashley could be interpreting things one way, and that may not be the truth. She's telling her truth. That doesn't mean that it is the truth. She never said that Trina said anything disparaging to her. And so it could just be how she's interpreting it. And that's why you should reach out to somebody, because what you think is going on may not be what's going on. And if Tamar was really trying to help that girl, it would be different if Tamar heard some negative things that Trina was saying about the girl. But Tamar didn't hear. Tamar didn't know that that's what went down. So that was really most of the episode. Towanda is acting. I'm so happy for Towanda. I remember in earlier seasons of Braxton Family Value, Towanda said that she wanted to act, and she started going to the Lee Strasberg School of Acting. And that's like a big school in LA. But not only is Towanda acting, she's acting and she's directing. and that's good to see. Now they showed a movie of Tamar. She looked like she was doing really, really good. Not a movie of Tamar. They showed Towanda on set in the acting role, and her acting looked really, really good. Now she said that the movie that she's going to star in is going to be on Prime, Apple TV, and Tubi. And I'm thinking that was a joke. Was she joking? She had to be joking because I watch shows on Apple TV, and Apple TV shows give big budget. The Apple TV shows give big budget, big time budget. And that whole scene, that set that was going on over there, the wig that she had on, it wasn't given Apple TV. It can give Tubi. It was given Tubi, but it wasn't given Apple. But I must say that her acting, she's not a bad actor. Tamar is getting a lick with BBL.
Please go away from me with this.
Okay. Girl, what? I never heard. I don't know what goes into getting a BBL. I guess in my mind, I thought a BBL was they gonna have to put you to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. When I think of do what makes you happy, but in my mind, I can't wrap my mind around maybe breast implants, right? But I'm a type of person that if you don't like nothing on your body, then you need to try to change it with the gym, because going to somebody and trusting them to do something to your body can make your situation worse. And I don't trust nobody like that. I would think that a BBL, that they would be putting you to sleep and they putting some fat tissue in your ass and they gonna have the ass sitting, baby. You know, so I've never heard of a liquid BBL, and all of those syringes that the woman had on the table, there's no way. There's no way. I'm scared to go get tested sometime. I don't like no type of needles. You know what I'm saying? If you know that they got to do, draw your blood or whatever, give you a shot or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm nervous about that. So no. Okay. Now she said that she ended up getting her breast done. Her breasts look good. Tamar looked good to be 48, and that's one thing. Tamar is crazy and out of her mind sometimes. But Tamar she be looking good sometimes. Her breasts look done. She named her breasts Mercy and Grace. The first person that I ever heard on reality TV naming a breast was Portia, Coco, and Chanel. And now everybody naming their breasts. She said that she got to get her butt done because she never had ass before. Is that true? Is that true? I know that she didn't have no ass like Beyonce, thick Beyonce. She didn't have no ass like Beyonce or Ketoy Johnson or Buffy the Body, but I never thought that she didn't have like ass. I always thought that Tamar had like a nice shape. She wasn't bad built. Now, Tamar did some good work done, because we see in the flashback when she showed up to the restaurant where her and Toni almost had a fight. I was looking, the litmus test for me when I think that a person have a nice body is how their body look in an all black outfit. And at the beginning of the episode, when Tamar was walking to the restaurant, baby Tamar was walking, Tamar was serving, Tamar looked good. And I was like, oh, Tamar looked good. Tamar looked good, okay? Now, we saw Tamar later on in the episode. The ass was kind of teardroppy a little bit to me. It seemed like that she got the bottom part of the ass, but the top part is not there. It looked a little teardroppy to me. And I don't know if that was there before the lady put the syringes up ass, or if that was a result of the work after she did. Miss E and Trina. Miss E thinks she a star, child. Miss E thinks she a star. Okay, Trina ended up getting her real estate license. She said that she had bought so many houses before, and the real estate agent gets a lot of the money. So she said she could do that herself. She just got a real estate license, and she is getting ready to close on her first house or her first sale. So that's good. And they ended up talking about Towanda. Now, I didn't finish watching the season last season, but Towanda is an empty nester. I did not know that. But I did notice that when they showed a clip in the trailer, they showed Towanda with a sweater on. She was walking with her daddy, and her sweater said Navy Mom. So I'm assuming that one of her children is in the Navy. They said that Tamar is a bridezilla, that she's a Virgo and she's a bridezilla. I would never forget when Towanda is a bridezilla. I would never forget that I would never forget when Towanda was turning 40 years old. I believe she was turning 40 years old. And she wanted all she wanted for her birthday is that she wanted to perform I Don't Want to Be Alone Tonight by Tisha Campbell and on school days, right? She wanted to be Tisha. It's so funny to me that Towanda wanted to be Tisha, baby. Towanda wanted to be Jane Tucson.
Girl.
Towanda seen School Days and said, I identify with Jane's two sons. She didn't identify with the nappy heads. No shade, I'm just saying. She didn't identify with them. She identified with Tisha Campbell, who played Jane's two sons. Did y'all know that Vanessa Williams was supposed to play Jane's two sons in School Days? Yes, fun fact. She was supposed to play Jane's two sons in School Days, and the role was actually given to her, but for some reason she wasn't able to take the role, and they ended up giving it to Tisha. Yeah, and she was trying to get her sister to perform, and I remember Tamar showed up for rehearsals, and Trina was showing up for rehearsals, and she really wanted this performance, and Toni was basically didn't even tell her, but Toni was just like, "Bitch, I'm not doing that. I'm not being no background singer for nobody." That's what it was giving me. And she had the birthday party, and Towanda was upset because she wanted it to happen. And Towanda and not Towanda, Trina and Tamar was really going to rehearsals trying to get everything down right. Tracy was out of town. She lived out of town, so she couldn't be there. But it was no reason that Toni couldn't be there. And when I believe that if the performance would not have went down and it was Trina or Tamar's fault, Towanda would have had a fit. But because it was Toni Braxton, she kind of let it roll off her back. She was upset, but she wasn't as mad as she would have been if it was somebody else. Okay? Then we got Toni. Toni is starting to produce now. She want to step into producing. I believe she produced. I think I seen in the blogs that Toni got like 2 things going on over there with Lifetime. So she's gonna be a Lifetime producer like Garcelle. And then we at the last episode, the last scene of the episode was Tamar. We got a live taping of the podcast, and again, this is the first live taping of the podcast that Ashley is going to be on. Now, the name of the podcast is called Life, Love, and Beyond. I am a podcast connoisseur. Okay, I listen to podcasts. I really like listening to the Joe Budden podcast because they don't have no commercials. But when I listen to like Mel Robbins and Oprah has a podcast, and Call Her Daddy and Angie Martinez and the Jill Scott podcast or Drink Champs, they have commercials and they let you know about other podcasts. So I kind of know whatever podcast is coming out, and that's how I subscribe to it. Like Monica Lewinsky has a podcast. Everybody got a podcast. Candace got a podcast. I had no idea that Tamar had another podcast. And so, again, Ashley is the first live podcast, which I think is very funny and very telling to me with Tamar. And she tells Ashley, I want to know what really happened. And she tells Ashley to tell her story. In my mind, I just feel like that if Tamar wanted to have that girl tell her story, even if you still was hell-bent on putting the podcast out, Ashley telling her story is something that should have been safeguarded. And maybe safeguarded is not the word, so let me explain what I'm trying to say. Ashley's story could have been recorded on the podcast and they could have dressed it up, meaning not putting extra in it. They could have wrapped it up with a bow. To have her just sitting on stage telling a story in front of people, right, where she may mess up and people in the audience are going to be very, very critical of her or whatever she say. I just think that it's just all of this serves Tamar. And you want to be seen as a person who, she had this girl back. She did. You know what I'm saying? It's not really, you're not really trying to be there for Ashley. This is beneficial for you. And you want her to come and tell her story on your platform because you want to exploit her. Family secrets do suck. But why didn't you tell us that? Girl, I can't take it. I can't take it. Okay? But y'all, I feel like a lot of people are not going to be with me. I just want to think about this for a second. Gabe is gone, and Ashley is telling her side of the story. But we don't have any text messages. It would be different if we had text messages. We don't know what went on. And Gabe is 100% wrong to me, in my opinion. However, we seen Eve's Bayou, and we seen Sissy lie on her daddy. Megan Good's character, I believe her name was Cicely. We seen Cicely lie on her daddy. And we seen Journey Smollett character go and put a root on that man and have him killed because the sister lied on her lied on the daddy and said that he tried to have her or was inappropriate with her. That story, Journey Smiley's character would have went to her grave believing that her daddy was inappropriate with her sister. But if that daddy had not wrote Debbie Morgan's character, I forget the name, but I know y'all seen the movie, and let her know what happened, we would have never got the truth. And I'm not saying that's the case here, but what I'm saying is that we don't know the entire story, nor do we have the text messages. We don't. So it's kind of hard to judge. That's all I'm saying. And I know some of y'all may disagree, but again, I feel like that we all can agree that Gabe is wrong. But I'm not going to say that Ashley did nothing wrong because she was 16, because we don't know who approached who. That what we do know is that Ashley was carrying on and participating in an inappropriate relationship with her uncle. Not only when she was in town visiting her aunt, she was carrying it on even when she went back to Baltimore and she got caught. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. But y'all let me know, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that being 16 absolves you from any wrongdoing or any accountability? And I want y'all to really tell me, do y'all think that the family knew what was going on? And y'all let me know, do y'all think Trina not telling the family was there to save Ashley and her image? Because I highly doubt, and y'all can sit up here and play the moral police if y'all want to, and get on your high horse if you want to. What I'm telling y'all, because I done seen it happen in my family, I'm telling y'all right now that if that family knew that Ashley was over there carrying on an inappropriate relationship with Gabe, she would not have been over there with Tamar and Vince, and she would not have been over there being assistant for Toni and Bird Band. She would not. That's just the truth. And so I can see Trina not putting her out there to the family was an effort to save Ashley's image, because her and her sister was troubled. So I could see that saving her, that being out there to save her. It would be different if Gabe raped this girl or had sex with this girl or took advantage of this girl. But the truth of the matter is she was carrying on an inappropriate relationship with him. And let me know, do y'all think that Tamar is trying to exploit the situation? Tamar saying that family secrets suck, and she sat up here and tried to keep the family secret right in our motherfucking face. Okay? But y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Sorry that the review is late. I will try to be on time for the next episode, but I do like that we got some real reality TV here. I do like that we got some reality TV here, and I think that we'll get more reality TV when it's a family dynamic. When we getting girls on the show together who don't really know each other, it's not really deep, and that's what I think what was so good about Escape and SWV, that they had a real friendship for over 30 years. These girls really knew each other, and there was raw emotion. And that's what I think that we're missing from the reality TV world. When we just, oh, this girl got money, let's put her over here in this group. And she got money, let's put her over here in this group. It's not really any real emotion behind it. These girls don't really know each other. They're just showing up for work, right? So that's what I think separates the Braxtons and SWV and Escape from the Real Housewives of Atlanta and shows of that nature, okay? But thank y'all so much for being here, y'all. I appreciate the love and support, and I'll see y'all later. Adios.